Welcome back to the Mackinac Policy Conference here at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. So the question, can Michigan win the mobility race? It's constantly asked, particularly at a conference like this. Robert McMahan is president at Kettering University. We're going to try to answer this question together.
Yeah,
Good
okay.
to have
we'll,
you.
We'll do our best.
We
How's
will.
that? It's
We
nice
will.
to be here.
You know, for someone just focusing in now, though, and wondering, what is this mobility race that we're constantly talking
Oh my
about?
gosh, how long have you got?
Right,
It's
exactly.
a multi-dimensional. One
Yeah.
of the interesting things about it is mobility is, you know, we knew what, when we talked to automotive, we knew what that was in historically, right? We knew what that represented as far as technologies, engines, et cetera, powertrain. Mobility is a whole different thing because it's a whole spectrum of technologies. It's everything from electrification and what's called new energy technologies to autonomous vehicle technologies to computing, AI. All of this is really in the space of mobility. So in a very real way, it's a different animal than we've dealt with in the past.
And who is winning that race right now?
Well, I guess, if I had to be honest, I would
Please.
say that, we've got some very stiff competition, especially internationally. We have a number of partnerships overseas as a university because we are known internationally in this space in automotive and as an institution in mobility. And so we have partnerships in Asia and Europe, across the globe. I would say some parts of Asia, especially in China, that they are very far along in this space.
What do we need to do to get further ahead?
Well,
I know it's a difficult question.
That's a hard question. Yeah.
It's not just one, wave a magic wand and make it happen.
Who am I going to anger with this answer?
Right,
That's right. The technology has the technology, especially when we talk about mobility in the terms of like electrification and automotive. There are multiple dimensions to it. And all of those dimensions need to be addressed at the same time. For example, we're very far along in autonomous vehicle technologies, in the electrification and in the powertrain aspects of mobility, but the infrastructure pieces are not so far advanced. A lot of people who, for example, who purchase an electric vehicle, who operate, say, this is the best vehicle I've ever had.
Yeah.
I really love it. But then when it comes to using that, especially for longer distances where range anxiety becomes a problem, they're more reluctant to adopt the technologies. In China right now, recently we saw they now have battery swapping technologies where you don't go up and charge a vehicle.
You get a new battery.
You go into a little garage kind of enclosure. Robots come and swap your battery out, and you're on your way in 2 or 3 minutes. That makes the technology far more useful and broadly applicable.
Yeah. What is Kettering doing right now in terms of trying to get us where we need to be?
Well, this is of course we're known in this space, and we have strong programs in a lot of the kind of core areas: new energy, electrification, et cetera, autonomous vehicles, and artificial intelligence. So we're actually creating multiple verticals, if you will, to address all of these individual pieces. Cars, automobiles, they are no longer mechanical devices. They are rolling computers. So you have to be able to make trades between how do we do this? Do we do this in software? Do we do it in hardware? And put those pieces together. And engineers and business people who are working in the space need to be well versed in all of those so they can make those decisions.
What's most exciting to you right now in this space?
Oh, it's a wide open frontier.
Yeah.
I mean, and to that point, these vehicles are rolling computers, and there's enormous potential, not just in ordinary transportation, but in the ability to provide mobility, transportation to individuals that have not always been well served by the existing transportation infrastructure.
How is AI changing all of this and the brevity at which the change is happening?
It's accelerating everything. There's You know, it used to be that you could learn a skill, and that skill could last you a career for your entire working lifetime. Well, that has gradually shortened over time, such that the skill that you learn maybe lasts you 5 or 10 years, and you would have to retool. AI, in a very real sense, is changing that to maybe the skill lasts 1 or 2 years, and the careers that students or people will have 10 years from now, probably the list of the top 10 careers 10 years from now, 80% of those haven't been invented yet. So the challenge becomes, how do we train people? How do we educate people for a world that has not yet been invented? And what kind of skills and habits of mind and understandings do they need in order to be able to function and succeed in that world?
How do we even start to do that?
Well, you start by reducing the problem to its fundamentals, right? It's really about, how do you approach complexity, how do you approach problems, and how do you break problems down. We talk about critical thinking and those skills. These are becoming even more important,
Right.
because AI is going to change the structure of labor. AI is here. It's not going away. It is going to be in many forms, and agentic AI and these all these forms, physical AI, are going to be more and more a part of the everyday operations of organizations, just like computing was. I mean, there was a time when we did our books on ledgers, right? And then Excel came along, and people said, well, I'm not sure how we would use that. Now we can't even conceive of doing that. But more so than that, out of that revolution came enterprise resource planning and management systems, CRM systems, all the things that make modern business run.
Yeah.
The same is going to be true of AI,
Yeah.
but probably on an even shorter time scale.
President McMahan, it's always great to talk to you.
No,
Thank
it's
you
great.
so much.
No, I really appreciate being here.